Hey everyone, hope you're good. If you are in the market, whether you are a trader or an investor, and you miss out on certain things because you're too busy doing other things, you're a bit like me, a bit busy, I've got something for you and I want to share it with you right now. So stick around, you'd love this. So a few weeks ago, I posted a video and I showed off this indicator in a very early edition. Now, I hate missing things. I hate missing momentum. I'm a momentum trader. I trade off the trend. I'm a trend trader, essentially a positional holder. And on the longer time frames, you tend to go, oh, that's an amazing move. I wish I could have been told that that was happening. Well, this is going to probably change the game. And if you do like to invest, if you like to trade, but you also think the alert systems are pretty crap, hit a like, because I feel the same. So obviously, I want to show you something that's freaking awesome, and I love it. Now, this is developed by myself and Patrick. We've came up with this concept that we feel works with every single market due to whatever settings you wish to put on it. It's a combination of different indicators that work incredibly well together. That's how it works. Simple. When you are a trader, you always look for different confirmations depending on what time frame you're on, or multiple time frames. You're going to be using different strategies. You're going to look at different indicators. If one indicator is going against one other indicator that you're looking at, you're going to go, I'm going to wait a bit. This gives you a momentum signal that will tell you whether it's bullish or bearish, and you can set an alert for it. So let's get it up. It's called the Hitman. And also, before I forget, go into the comment section. There's website and the Twitter link. If you want to get involved in terms of being an affiliate or actually just using it, there's a website. It'll, you can get notified when it goes out, and it will be out very, very soon. On the 20th of this month, January, we are going to be releasing it for cryptocurrency only. Okay, just to get it started, get it bedded in. Later on, there'll be a full website where it'll be for all markets. But on this video, we're going to cover all markets as well. So if you are in Forex, if you're a stock market trader, investor, stick around, guys. We're going to start with Ethereum first, just to show you. Now, this is how it looks. Okay, this is on the daily. This is just a random setting. We're going to tweak the settings a little bit just to show you how flexible it is. Now, this is not to be copied solely. It is based around momentum, trend analysis. You will not, I repeat, press the short button when you see a random pop like this, for example. You'd be like, I'll wait. Trend analysis is always key. So, for example, the basics of using it, just to get it out there right now before I forget. If you're in a bullish trend and you start seeing signals that momentum is increasing, that's a buy opportunity. You don't go against a trend. For example, we can edit these settings to make it more sensitive. If you see stuff like this in the market, you will always think to yourself, well, actually, it's a rejection, bearish, we're below the trend lines, we're going to short it. That is simple trading. That's how I trade. This gives you those alerts. Now, let's play around with the settings and I'm going to show you it. You've got different types of settings. Now, in terms of how it works is, lower the number. They are highlighted a bit better on the main release, don't worry. I will show you. So when you go into this, it'll show you, this is what the main one will look like. Okay, it'll show you that lower equals more essentially in reality. There will be some tweaks to the wordings. However, in this, if say for example, I want it a bit more aggressive, let's put it to 1.3, you're going to start seeing signals move a little bit and they move around. Okay, this is just a sensitivity. And just to give you an idea, more will appear. If you want to go pretty radical and you're like, cool. But on the daily time frame, that could yield some really good results dependent on how much you zoom in. And if you do zoom in, you're going to start seeing some things. Now, obviously, you're going to start seeing some random ass signals. Now, this would be one of those signals you think, wow, that's pretty good. Why? Well, it's stating that there's been a rejection. At some point, momentum has changed. Obviously, it pops up a little bit, but eventually it does come down. You want to be told about these things. You want to be told that you're in a range. Now, you cannot keep a constant signal or a constant eye on moving averages because they change all the time and you don't know whether it's bullish or bearish, even if it slaps it. it's not very concrete, whereas this obviously combination of different indicators gives you a much better bearing. So when you start playing around with it and you start seeing that, well, actually, in reality, when you start seeing these signals and you get the settings cushy right, you're going to start seeing what's right and what's wrong. And as I say, trend analysis is key. You are not going to go long in a bearish trend unless you're scalping. But you're never going to scalp on the daily time frame, so ignore that. If you are trend trading, you're thinking, right, I'm going to go short, and I think Ethereum's bearish, I'm going to go short, cushy. You know, this is a perfect signal. Now, obviously, you've got stop losses to consider, you've got leverage and all kinds of other stuff to consider, but it works on every single time frame. This is perfect. Boom, off it goes, cushy. Again, here, you're below the trend, the sell signal comes in, you're going to go short anyways, regardless, because you're in a bearish trend, it's telling you that momentum's changed, it drops off even more. And likewise here, you can start adopting methods to climb into positions, especially as an investor. If you're below the trend, you're thinking, right, well, you know something, we're quite close to the EMAs because this candle will print here. You'll be looking at this candle, be like, right, cool. We're very, very close here. If we start going above this EMA, we're going to start putting a little bit in a position. We'll go add a bit more, and you'll keep adding to your position. There's different strategies to work with, but we're going to explain what you get in the package in terms of how to use it. So that is the indicator. But what we're going to do is put up the strategy tester. This gives you an idea of kind of what's involved. Okay, this gives you, you know, obviously all kinds of good stuff. If I change elements of this, you're going to start seeing, well, obviously that's not going to work, is it? But, you know, you can see the results throughout. Now, you can change all the other settings as well, give you different profit factors, give you different ranges as well, different strengths, and obviously different bits of data. Okay, now this is obviously the daily time frame. This will depend on how you want to trade, but personally for me, what I find best for the daily is probably go a little bit higher on the sensitivity, so it gives you less signals, but it gives you the better ones. So in terms of the genuine trend, buy in here, for example, in the trend, you know, look at taking profits up at these regions or whatever. You know, same with on this, you're above the trend, off you go. Oh, look, rejection. Oh, we're going to come back down. Cheese easy. Profit every single time if you can see them and if you know how to read trends. Simple. So let's go to another market, because why not? So what we'll do is we'll go to a Forex market because it's easy. We'll go to, let's say, the Australian yen. And this again, similar sort of stuff. Okay, I'll delete that malarkey there. And again, you're not going to trade probably the daily on this, but if you go down to the 4-hour time frame, for example, you can start seeing, well, how does it work with momentum? Well, first and foremost, you've got to change your settings to adapt to cryptocurrency or to Forex or to the stock market. Every single market is different. Each index is different in terms of volatility. So you've got to think to yourself, well, actually, I need to change the settings a little bit. So what you do is then you change your settings. This will probably require more sensitivity. So let's just say 1.3, for example. It gives a few more settings. You could probably go down and change these a little bit, down to a bigger strength essentially. And you could probably start saying, well, actually, out of 607, you got a very high profit factor, and you've also got a decent percentage. Obviously, I've not set up the amounts on the properties. We could do that actually now. Should we do that? Yeah, let's do it. Why not? Order size, we'll just put 3% equity as an example. There you go. It gives you some decent yielded profits. So let's just say, for example, that. Okay. Again, same rules apply. You've got to think to yourself, well, what do I want to do as a trader? For example, stuff like this, you know, even this, for example, if you're in a bullish trend, you think to yourself, well, the chances of me winning are higher if we're in a bullish trend if I'm going long. Likewise, if you're going short, if you're in the bearish trend, you're going to go short. So you enter a position on this candle here, for example, you got a good stop loss, but the reason why your stop loss is good because you've got these as a buffer. If you start going below it, you think, well, actually, index, let's get out of it because I've gone wrong. Obviously, it goes up. So again, if you put a position anywhere at this point here, and you've got a stop loss even below this region, that's 20 pips. Huge risk reward, and you can take profits at certain points. Now, what we give as a package is education. We teach you how the market kind of moves, where you can go for the best sort of deals for brokers, and the legit ones, the ones that aren't back alley sort of crap ones, the ones that have genuine regulations and, all kinds of insurance policies. With that, we also have trading plans. How to build your own trading plan, how to use a risk reward strategy for this, and how to actually use the system in more detail using other indicators. For example, you can start thinking about using the MACD, the RSI as examples as well. You've also got the volume profile and pivot point if you so wish to. We will educate you on how to use it fully, because this, all it is, spoiler alert, is an alert system. Now, how it works in real time, if I go to the Forex setting, for example, if you, on the main one, you basically just right click and go add alert. That will then tell you where things are. Now, for example, on this one, here, look at it, it's crazy. This one's one of the better ones you get. If you are told that has happened on the previous candle and you look and you see that candle, you'll be like, holy fuck. Because what's going to happen is, that in your head, you're below the two smaller moving averages. You're like, right, I'm below those EMAs or whatever. I know in my head, in my trading strategy, that would indicate a bearish trend. You would then add a position, you put your stop losses above it, and you think, so right, let's see what happens. Go for it. Every risk in a trade is worth it if the reward is there. Your basic target point will probably be down to this region anyways, but obviously it drops a lot lower. That is basically how it all works. And obviously, well, let's look at it. The RSI is, we're going into bearish territory. When you open that candle, you're down here. When you look at the RSI and the MACD, you're crossed over, you're looking very, very bearish. You got to think to yourself, well, actually, thank you, alert system. You just told me that there's a move here. I'm going to go for it. Likewise for the next move here. You then see this candle here. You've got a crossover, you've already gone above. The RSI's going back upwards again from lower positions. And you've also got other stuff as well, such as like a very, very slight, very slight RSI bullish divergence. It matters a lot because it's going to tell you where things are. So that's, if you want to swing trade, on the Forex, the Hitman will take care of you and it will tell you when things are happening. And again, what we'll do is, let's look at another one. Not all of them are perfect, by the way. Each market has different cycles, we know that. But again, look at this as an example. It shows you literally probably a rejection and you're going into a bearish trend. Well, what are you going to do, guys? You're going to short. And if you can get a good entry at this region up here, don't have to worry about these little wickety woo-woo bits here. It gradually comes down. Let's look at the Great British Pound and, the Swiss franc. Again, same method. When it's above it, it tends to go up. When it's below it, it tends to go down. Obviously, every signal is different. You've got to look at different things. And what you'll see with this one here, when you open that one, you'd probably be very, very wary anyways, because this is starting to tail back up again, and this is pointing up again. As soon as you see that candle, you're like, okay, I'll wait. Obviously, it pops back up. You've just got to be careful and you've got to look at each one, whereas this one is more clear. You can see that. You're in a better position. This is tanking down and obviously being a lot higher. So momentum is going to be falling pretty hard. So that is how you can read it, okay? And as I say, it's going to be incredibly priced. All the details are going to be in that comments section for you to check out. You're going to get further updates. But the crypto version will be £10 a month within the premium of learning crypto. Again, undervalued. We're also going to be publishing the alerts for people who do not trade much or do not have trading view, etc., into Telegram automatically. But I'm going to show you as well. Let's have a look at, let's look at a stock, because why not? Let's look at AMD as an example. This works very, very well. Now let's move off here. Let's go to the strategy tester again. Let's find a decent setting for this. We're going to go to the daily time frame actually, because why not? Let's remove all the jargon. Let's make it nice and clear. Now, this should be priced reasonable because of the extra costs that you've got with TradingView. We feel it's quite unfair if you're going to pay a lot of money for an indicator when you've got to use the actual platform itself. But let's have a little look and think what you could do even as a daily sort of time frame trader on a stock. Now you can see here that it does show momentum pretty well, but I find that on the stock market, if you look to the weekly, it gets really quite good. And again, look at that as an example there. Even on here, trend continuation, it tells you exactly what you need to know. but every single time frame can work for you. It doesn't really matter, and you can find some great analysis of literally using this. Now obviously we know that the stock market is going through a very big bullish cycle at the minute. Again, off it goes, telling you there, even on this bearish period, you could have made money below the trend. And it is all about telling you essentially where the moves are. That is it. You don't have to make it too complicated. You don't have to change the laws of physics to use it. But stuff like this is massively important. And you can see here, look at the percentage profitability. It's absolutely crazy. And that is just on one stock. Let's have a look at another one. Let's look at let's look at Twitter. Why not? Twitter a little bit different, but it's showing that there is profit there. Not as flush, you'd argue, but if you do follow it, there is profits to be made if you've got a trading plan, if you've got a stop loss, and obviously if you've got take profits within that. Let's change to Microsoft Group. Oh, Christ. Microsoft Group as well, showing that the trend continuations there. Obviously buying low, sell high. It's telling you where the profits are. And if you've got a load of stocks that you're keeping an eye on and you want to use, say, the daily or the 3 daily, and you want to invest, well, this is going to tell you when the momentum is in your favor and when it isn't. So when to buy, when to sell. So that is simply it. We'll look at one more stock one. Let's look at something random. Let's look at the Ford Motor Group. Downtrend. This is in a downtrend, as you can see. It's telling you when to basically not worry too much about it, essentially. Let's look at the weekly. Sell. The sell signals are pretty good in reality. When you think, even though that's popped up, you could argue that, well, with custom settings, you'd obviously set up each trade as you could in a much better situation. Now, even if you can argue that, well, maybe actually let's put the volatility range up to a decent amount, and you could probably argue the signal strength up a little bit to a bit weaker with the sensitivity. You can make it so you can do whatever the hell you want with these charts, and that's the beauty of it. And even that, it's still profitable. Whereas you can see this region now in the stock market, it's different as an investor. You want to be able to get involved in the trend, and if you are like literally looking at this area and you target in this area thinking, right, cool, there's a definite sell here, you can go for it, and you know what's going to happen. If this goes below the trend, it's going to be quite hard to get above it again. That's usually the rule. The idea is to tell you when these moves are happening, and that is why the Hitman will be very, very profitable for you, to tell you when things are genuinely happening. And you cannot get away from the fact that technology and all kinds of stuff like that is going to be key. Now let's look at a random, and one more random stock. Actually, let's look at Apple, because it's right there. Each setting can be tweaked to whatever the hell you want. Look at the monthly, for example, as an investor. You can see where the trend continuation is every single time, which is absolutely barbaric, realistically. But even if you look at the daily, there's plenty of opportunities here to make money. Even the weekly, I'd recommend massively the weekly for stock market investing, just to keep an eye on it, so you know that you're going the right way, you're doing all things right. And even if you have it on quite a low sensitivity, like even for, let's make that a bit lower. 10 and 10 usually is quite good. So for example, this, right? 10, 10, 4, cool, it's easy. Now on the weekly, on stocks that are like bullish, it's just telling you exactly what you need to see, and literally you cannot fault the record of it. And there you go, buy. That would tell you to probably sell or short if you so wish to accumulate more, and then buy again. How awesome. So I hope you like this video. Anyways, it's random. I know it's, probably thinking, well, what are you doing? But this is literally my own product. This is going to be coming out very, very soon. Just wanted to show it off to you guys because, well, you're probably going to use it at some point. This is an amazing system just to tell you when momentum has changed. And it doesn't, even on every setting that you can think, even if you're an investor on a couple of stocks and you've got it set up, it will just tell you that, okay, there's a sell signal. I might take some profits here. I might move my money around. You just don't know what's going to happen in the markets. But if you are told that momentum has changed in the markets with real-time data, it is much better than you going to an article of some boffin in an office in New York telling you. That's basically it. So, see you soon. Hope you enjoy. Please do subscribe, press the like button and all kinds of good stuff. I'll see you very, very soon.